Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Mitch Taco Bell. I'm your host for Tall Tales with Taco. And it is a great Tuesday night because I have the president CEO of We Are the Mighty, one of the best websites out there that has all military content, everything their writers and their professionally done films are like showstoppers, kind of like if I'm in a hotel room on a layover, Shawshank Redemption comes on, I'm sorry, I just drop the remote and watch it. Well, this is the same deal. Their content is that worthy that as you're scrolling through Facebook and you see something, you just got to stop and watch it. And I sent an email to Mark, and out of the blue, he replied, said, "Yeah, I'd love to be on the podcast because I know this guy has some fantastic stories of over the years that he's collected and read and vetted. So it's going to be a great show tonight. Without further ado, I'd like to bring Mark Harper on. How are you?"
I'm doing fantastic. And yourself?
Hey, man, greetings from Yucca Valley. Where? Joshua Tree.
Yeah. Yep. We're right outside Joshua Tree.
Man, that is a beautiful area. As the Marines would always say, go out to Yuma, or 29 Palms. There was a hot Marine. There was a hot girl behind every palm tree, right? But in your case, you married a Marine, so you found her. How did you manage
True. That? Well, that was right before the pandemic hit. Actually, we met, and it's not easy in Los Angeles to actually find veterans like that, especially when you're on like a dating app, which is what we both were. So we just happened to connect. I think her opening line to me was, "Are you one of those guys that only has friends at the American Legion and you just go there every night?" So it was a real warm hi, like a nice to meet you kind of introduction, but it was great.
Did she?
Yeah.
When you first met her,
Basically a knife hand. It was a verbal
knife
hand. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it, man. Well, to go back, you were an Air Force captain, but how did you got into filmography early, and so you were combat camera, if I remember right.
Yes. So the trappings of my interest in everything video or multimedia in general
Yeah.
started back in high school. And then when I went to college at RPI in upstate New York, they had a very nascent video animation web design program. And I wanted to take those classes, but the Air Force scholarship I was on said that I was a computer systems engineer. And to this day, I still do not know what a computer systems engineer is. But they said, as long as you
early for Space Force.
Yeah, that's what it was. I couldn't have foreseen at the time. But the detachment told me, look, as long as that's somewhere on your transcript, go do whatever you want. So I had a dual in basically video and animation. And on my way into the Air Force, one of the cadre from the detachment pulled me aside and said, "I know you think you're going into this big military beast and that you're going to lose all this creative power that you have here and the ability to do video. You just got to look for it. It's there. Every job is there in the military if you look hard enough for it." Mm-hmm. And lo and behold, very early on in my Air Force career, I got an opportunity to, I think, bedazzle a colonel in front of a general, and I got called up and out immediately, and I got moved over into this thing. This basically was like a training part of like a training squadron
Right.
where I didn't do any training videos, but I was asked to do basically videos in service of like combat dining outs, dining ins, retirements, and they were all very specific. Can you make fun of these people in this video? Like, absolutely. My mission was really all these videos that were. I mean, looking back on it, kind of shocked that I got away with the things I got away with.
Right.
But all in good taste. But it paved the way so that one day, I think it was my squadron commander said, you really should be over a combat camera. And I said, I don't know what that is, but that sounds exactly like what I should be doing. And my next assignment was over at Charleston Air Force Base, running video flight for First Combat Camera Squadron. I deployed to Operation Iraqi Freedom and Operation Enduring Freedom, leading joint combat camera teams during that time frame. And it's the reason why I stayed so long in the Air Force. It's also the reason why I left the Air Force. They allowed me to do my most favorite thing in the world for the Air Force. And my next role as a communications officer was going to be up and out somewhere else, running a base network or something to that effect. And I took the opportunity to kind of blindly move out to Los Angeles and see if I could parlay combat camera Captain Harper into something in Los Angeles.
Was this after you got out of the Air Force? You made this transition to the West Coast?
No, it was I decided to leave the Air Force and just blindly move to Los Angeles and see what I could do.
No way.
So that was my transition plan, was hang the uniform up one day, report to Hollywood, and start trying to kick down doors the next.
Did you call Dale Dye? Call Dale Dye up and go, "Hey Dale, man, I'm out here. Can you help me out?"
So back then, this is 2007 that this happened. There was no veterans in film and entertainment at that point. There were no networks. I mean, even things like LinkedIn and Facebook weren't even as full force as they are today. So it was really hard to like do this type of networking. And I had to just like blindly reach out to executives and send them over combat camera photos of the day, which usually got some sort of response. Like, who is this? Why are they sending? These are incredible photographs of what's currently happening out in either one of those campaigns, or from around the globe. And they would they would take meetings with me. It was kind of shocking. And when one meeting begets another, and so that's how I initially like just kind of got my foot in the door out here for this.
So then you created gig line, which by the way I love because all Marines are like, check your gig line.
Right?
How did you come?
Yeah,
I love that name. That's not an Air Force
gig
thing.
line was. Well, I enjoyed. It was one of my jokes back in ROTC. I liked gig line so much I had multiple, and you're obviously only supposed to have one line down the uniform.
Right.
I think that was my training segment one day for like the inbound cadets. So gig line actually came very recently, as opposed to the start of We Are the Mighty and the journey. Gig line came out of a opportunity to serve like DoD and federal clients, utilizing a military set aside category for specific jobs that are contracted. And specifically, the work that we've been doing is mostly for the Veterans Health Administration, so parts of the VA. And we've done some really, really cool projects. And we just got an Emmy nomination for one of them from the end of last year.
Was this the program, the training program that you guys put together, the Army?
No, this
10 weeks.
10 weeks. This was not 10 weeks. This was a one-off video that we shot in the DC area called A Vet's Life Rebuilt. And we were able to tell what we're doing through this campaign that for the VHA was take 75 stories out of the VA that no one's ever heard of. So about the incredible programs, the opportunities, the history of the VA, how it's broken up and how it better serves the greater military population. And this particular one was about a vet who had to have his whole life and body reconstructed, and what had happened to him then and where he was now. And it's a real tearjerker, but a testament to the incredible talent that's found at the VA and beyond for all that. But we did that in combination with We Are the Mighty, and the founding of that company was strictly as an avenue to be able to find our ways into projects that were specifically looking for a military veteran set aside component for work.
So how did you come up with the idea for We Are the Mighty? I mean, it's brilliant in terms of there's so many vets out there. And with the war going on, also brothers, sisters, cousins who are interested in what their relatives are doing. So how did you come up with We Are the Mighty and be able to piece that together?
I cannot take the credit for the magnificent beast that is We Are the Mighty. That was started, and even though I was there almost on day one for We Are the Mighty as a whole,
Oh,
the
well then
company was started
how did it all start? How about that?
through the brilliant mind of this gentleman named David Gale. And David Gale was the former head of MTV Films. And David Gale is responsible for, I believe, 27 films that he produced underneath that time frame. And these are such celebrated classics as Beavis and Butthead Do America, the Jackass franchise. He had a hand in Napoleon Dynamite. Varsity Blues came out of there. Election, Kings of Comedy, and 20-something more. I made a little jab in the beginning, but he made some of the most influential and coolest movies, and he's even referenced in Greatest Movie Year Ever, a book about 1999 when The Matrix came out, Election came out, a couple others. He's in there talking about why the world was the way it was, and what types of movies were being made. And the idea for We Are the Mighty was, can we use a channel like MTV had a channel that had an idea of what people liked, and that's why they were able to take Beavis and Butthead. That's why they were able to take Jackass and move them up from TV, move it into film. Were we able to make a channel, wearethemighty.com, and our social media, and curate and find what best content resonated with the military community, and then channel that up into TV and film from there. Easier said than done. But the website was launched in 2014. I was one of the very first employees on day one. David hired me as kind of his head of operations as we flipped the switch for the website and started building content and started shooting video. And it was so amazing to be a part of something that was at the intersection of military and content creation in such a deliberate fashion. And for the beginning of the company, we were very much building the airplane in flight, but we were getting feedback from the community and tailoring what we were creating and experimenting and shedding things that didn't work and leaning harder into things that did. And ultimately we created enough kind of digital series that played primarily on social media and the website that got a purchase from Verizon's Go90 team. So we actually made 6 bona fide digital media series that streamed on their app. And then that kind of laddered up into, even though that platform was shut down by Verizon, we eventually got picked up for that 10 Weeks show for this platform called Quibi, which then got bought out by Roku. And so that's where that show streams today. And that's our biggest thing that we've ever done. It's very much a full-fledged TV series compared to just kind of a short digital series.
So did you start shooting all those videos? I mean, the history of Memorial Day, just the most recent one. But I mean, when you started back in 2014, was that you that would create the videos and edit and do all that?
We had a very, very small team. So some days it was me. Most days it was, I remember the first day at We Are the Mighty, it was 2:30 in the morning, and I was editing something. And I looked up and I saw the clock, and I thought to myself, there is nowhere in the world I would rather be than in the seat right now, editing this video that who knows if anyone will ever see, but it's exactly what I want to be doing in this very minute. And we're onto something here. And I'm super excited for this journey that We Are the Mighty will become. And it was really cool. We were given a lot of flexibility by David in the very beginning to create a bunch of series and to be able to spend money against it, not knowing where the return on investment was gonna lie, because it was the Wild West at that point. make something, who's going to see it, make it better, and up channel it, from there. So I was a very much a part of that production team from the very beginning, but we've got some phenomenal people on the team at this point, and some very accomplished military creative talent, and some directors that we work with, who have made national commercials, work on TV shows, things of that nature. We just try to make sure that authenticity is at the core of everything that we do.
Well, I love it. I mean, like I was saying, it's a remote drop. If I'm scrolling through and I come across one of your videos, oh, We Are the Mighty, and I'll sit and you'll learn something and you'll enjoy it. It is definitely a remote drop for me to sit and see some of your productions. And then, of course, you've got my friend Eric Sabiston out there now, uh, joined up with you all probably 6 months ago, 8 months ago, um,
Yep, I
to
think
help
something like that.
contribute some stuff. And he's a friend, so I'm excited for him. And We Are the Mighty is now, let's see if Eric is watching this right now. I know he is. He's in Charlotte in training, so you can beat him up over the head. He needs to write more, but he also has to study his litanies and get all the stuff to fly the airplane. So once he gets done,
Yeah,
I'm sure he'll, he'll he's like,
terrific.
thanks, Taco. Yeah, he's like, thanks,
Yeah,
Taco. Now I got it's something else I have to write and
more
produce and
prying eyes.
whatnot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I had asked about your favorite stories. What are some of your favorite stories that you've come across that you guys have produced a video on? What have you
Cool.
seen that you just went, wow, that would make a great short film or interesting historical segment? What is your
Good
favorite?
question, because we've done. It's hard. I feel like I'm being asked to choose between a child right now, but that's not quite as dire
No,
as
all right.
this.
Nah, we can't. Yeah, we can't. We
No, no,
can't
no.
do that.
But what I mean by that is we've actually done so many videos, and we've done. We do this one series called the Mighty Minute, where we'll break down a specific battle or some sort of weapon, and go through its history, and bring it alive with b-roll footage or assets that come on the
Mhm.
screen. And we've done a lot of really incredible deep dives on so many particular topics. One that comes out every single day is Today in Military History, which, kind of as the name suggests, gives you a little one-off of what happened on this particular day. And that's probably where you saw, obviously, the Memorial Day
Right.
video or vignette. We've done time and time again, and it's evolved over the years. But some of those are actually my favorites, because not everyone really knows what Memorial Day is versus Veterans Day. And so it's kind of our opportunity to get out there and share the news of the important distinction between the two. And I think some of those things actually resonate more time and time again than even some of our one-off pieces of content around like a specific event or something to that effect. We also do a lot of branded content, and partnering with companies that are trying to reach the military community. And I was just sharing with you right before we started here, one of my favorite events to this date is this activation we did at the USS Intrepid last Tuesday, screening Top Gun Maverick for the military community, with USAA sponsoring it. And it was so hard to get done because we had to have Paramount Pictures sign off. They actually even had to get sign off from Tom Cruise's team.
What?
Uh, yeah. Uh, Apparently, there's a lot of layers of yeses that need to occur, and we made lightning strike 4 times in the same spot and pulled it off. And we just had so many people thanking, you know, us, USAA, Paramount, for the opportunity to see the movie ahead of the release that everyone
Right.
was going to see, last Friday.
Right.
And the movie is just so much fun. It's so
Yeah.
great. Um,
I
and
I was mad at Tom, Mr. Cruise, for delaying it as long as he did, but he is absolutely 100% right. This is a film that you've got to see it on the big screen.
yeah,
There is
yeah,
no way around it. It won't work on my television. I don't care, 70-inch, whatever. It's not going to work. This thing has to be seen on the giant screen to to
Yeah.
take it all in. I've seen it twice,
Absolutely.
and even the second time, anticipating something or catching something that I glossed over somehow, nuance or what something the character said. I'm going to go see it again, and Mr. Cruz is going to get 3 times my money. But
Yeah.
it's about time. It's only the only film I've seen in 2 years, I think, since COVID crushed us. But everybody out there, Aviator here, 2 thumbs up.
Yeah. Yeah. It is
That
something.
movie was incredible. Yeah,
Being
and
able to see it with I mean, the whole place was jammed with the military community members.
yeah,
And as you can imagine, I think everyone felt a sense of camaraderie. And so the theater at every second was hit with so much revelry happening, and every like great plot point or every
yeah.
like impactful moment that I will never forget, that just experiencing that movie in that theater, because everyone felt like they were somehow part of it in some way, shape, or form. And it was really something else.
Well, the first night I saw it, I took my son, and we're in my union, Allied Pilots Association rented 2 theaters. So we're full of old 50-some-year-old airline pilots, majority wearing flight jackets and stuff like that, former military. So you've got some hard critics,
Yeah,
honestly,
right.
in there, and everybody. I mean, to start with, the sound didn't play. So here's Tom.
Oh no.
And we're like going out of our minds. Tom Cruise is
Yeah,
talking to everyone and you can't hear anything. So, bolt up out of the room, go find some dude with a little microphone. Hey,
yeah,
Mission Impossible, quick, start the whole
yeah,
dang thing over. So
yeah,
they did. They rewound it. We started it again. Tom did his little monologue, which was fantastic. And then you got the scenes on the carrier. But everybody was going nuts. And at the end, they all got up and applauded. And my son's like, wow, this is really kind of cool, Dad. All these guys are pilots. I go, yep. If you were to drop a bomb in this movie theater right now, American Airlines would cease to exist for about,
that's funny.
a month because you just wiped out all the senior pilots.
Yeah,
Oh my God. No, it was fantastic. Then I went to go take my parents the second day. How we get talking about Top Gun. 35 years ago, my sister went to a ring dance at the Naval Academy on May 16th. In 1986. And we're at Annapolis, and my mom and I are, well, let's go have dinner. So we go have dinner, and that's early. And so, what are we going to do now? And I go, hey, this movie just came out, Top Gun. Let's go see it. So we go in the theater and we're watching it. And holy moly, when the VHS came out, I watched that thing. I would fast forward to the flying scenes if I had to write a paper or study. Well, that's the reason I'm doing it because I had my air
yeah,
contract. Now I'm going to be a
yeah,
Marine aviator. So, that was my motivation, the reason why. It was that good back then. And what I love about this is it stands on its own because you could not have seen the original or seen it 35 years ago.
yeah,
And it still stands on its own. But if you watch the original, then it pays homage and little hat tips to the original that I'm not going to give any spoilers, but it makes more sense. Put it that way, right?
yeah. And it, it's funny. Air Force, uh, the Air Force Hollywood Liaison Office shared with me, as we've had conversations with them about projects over the years, that Top Gun was the best Air Force recruiting uh, movie ever made, because the Navy had significantly fewer pilot slots open at the time, and they would all spill into the Air Force side of things, where they were just waiting and ready to sign people up. And
Oh,
so,
dude,
uh,
I did recruiting duty in 95 to 98, and the effects of Top Gun
still
still
there.
carried on.
Yeah,
Yeah. 10 years, 90, yeah, 90, 95, 98. So I was signing kids up to join the Marine Corps, oh yeah, Top Gun. It's kind of like that meme where the kid's in there talking to the recruiter and goes, yeah, I want to be like Top Gun. And then 1 year later, he's sitting there cleaning decks. Yeah, but you
not
guys
quite
had
Top Gun, but close.
yeah, the Air Force had an awesome movie that was so popular. They made like 9 of them. What was it? F-16 movie. What was that? Lou
Uh,
Gossett Jr. What was that movie?
yeah, it's escaping me now as you say it, but
Iron
it's
Eagle.
like Iron
Yeah,
Eagle,
what
Iron
a
Eagle,
great
Iron Eagle.
film.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm sure that just sent recruiting through the roof for the Air Force.
yeah.
Air Force. Not to bang on the Air Force, man. I'm sorry. That's funny.
Well, we're excited to pass that baton down to the Space Force at this point, right?
Oh,
We're hoping that the Space Force is now going to start drawing more attention and more fire from, the Marine Corps, the Army, and the Navy for their jokes and their memes. So we're kind of just sitting back, being quiet. And I think the Coast Guard is also like, let's see what goes on with the Space Force stuff. So
they can't help but just follow their sword. And when they came out with the TV show Space Force, it is so flippin' funny. And
yeah,
yeah, you just can't help but make fun of them. There are the bastard childs of, of the military now. Join Space Force, be a door gunner on the space shuttle.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So we got Top Gun. We got actually talk about Top Gun, which I was pretty psyched about. Um, let's see what else. What else? You guys got to do that. What other cool Hollywood productions have you helped with?
So we did the 10 weeks show, which is where we followed 5 new Army recruits from the beginning to end of Army boot camp, was something that the Army hadn't allowed, as in someone like tracking and going through the boot camp experience in over 2 decades. So getting the access, getting the funding, getting the right team together,
Yeah,
getting it all done, and telling the story the right way was, I think, probably the biggest project that we've been able to work on to date.
yeah. But how do you do that as like a? It's almost a reality show in terms of the crew's right there. Guys have to be wired for sound.
Yeah.
So how do you,
So
how do you do that?
it's so a lot of a lot of pre and post production, because we're just shooting so much and trying to, I mean, initially even find the right like 5 people to track during this time frame. And
Right.
then we followed one drill sergeant as well, in particular. I mean, we touched a lot of different people in there, but being able to tell the story in a way that one just educated people the right way about what misconceptions they may have of what boot camp is or is not.
Mm.
Um, Making sure that it passed through, Army signing off on it, and I mean that in a positive way. But then also helping find the audience, deliver the story the right way. With so much footage, it was interesting because we had a partner for production on that, and they would come back with, well, we want to talk about the experience in the proverbial CX gas chamber here, and what did we don't really understand how to tell this particular story, and we're like, well, let's back up. The fundamental components underlying this are, the type of stress, the fog of war, actually, like really the fog of war, when this
Right.
type of thing were to happen, and the reality of, where the world is going with, chemical attacks, etc. These things are all kind of baked into, the tenets of why this is being taught in this particular way. It's not just to throw people in a room and punish them unnecessarily. There are things that
Yes, it
that
is. Yeah.
you need to learn, maybe a little bit of that too, but the things that you need to learn, ways to stay calm in these high stress environments. And we really want to make sure that the story is told, that there is a purpose to some of the things. There is method to the madness, as
Right.
it were, for why they do specific things, and how the group as a whole is broken down and built back up as one cohesive unit. And at first that story was not getting told, so we had to go back in and deconstruct and build it back to, our own version of boot camp, getting the boot camp show out.
Right.
So it was very interesting for it
Well,
to go
how'd
through
you
that
pick
whole
the five?
process.
How did you pick the five guys? I mean, did you broadcast out early before boot camp started and get some recruiters to go, hey, I got a kid that might be good, or how did they pick?
No, so I mean, as you can imagine, getting this thing greenlit uh, went all the way up to, I believe, a 3 star, and it had the scrutiny of that level of
Yeah.
brass that we're looking at this to begin with. So it was about finding people that had real stories of things they needed to accomplish in their journey to become a soldier. And we had a single mom with 2 kids trying to make a better life for her family. We had this one gentleman who came from a very small town, and he felt he wasn't amounting to much, and to be able to ask his girlfriend for her hand in marriage from her father, he needed to do this.
Hmm.
Uh, it was stories like that, and we found and chopped people out, both based on the story, how well it was going, and their ability to actually finish 10 weeks.
Right.
Uh, we weren't trying to not show the people that failed as much as we need to make sure that the story was good all the way there, and some of them were hanging on by a thread until the very end.
I
So
don't
it,
know
it
if I'd
was
want. I
interesting.
mean, you're walking on the skyline already. I don't think I want a film crew filming Sergeant Jabrowski making
Yeah,
me do bends and thrusts until I'm puking up my breakfast. I
there's a
don't know
lot
if
of
I
that.
want
Yeah,
that.
you're drawing fire from the drill sergeants as well, like extra heat, because it's now a part of a performance. So
Uh,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I got it. He's going home going, honey, you ought
yeah,
to see. I just wore them out, man.
yeah,
I was like steel brush, man. I was a wool brush, man. I just wire brushed those guys. That was good. Yeah,
yeah.
it always amazed
Meanwhile,
me.
other sides breaking down, tears, calls to
Yeah,
home, all that stuff. So we kind of did it like a little bit, to use a bad example, but like a little American Idol type way, where we're getting some background on them,
right,
introducing those elements at various points throughout the production.
right. I'm
It's
not going
very
to see
cool.
Showtime with De Niro where he has to go in the little booth and tell his feelings or something. Did you guys do that to the recruits?
There-
Sit in the little
We
booth and
absolutely
how do you
did.
feel
We
today? Did you really?
we absolutely did. Yep, absolutely. It's part of the
Oh,
process. Like, where's your head
yeah,
at right now? What are you feeling? What is going on? As it relates to what's so important back home and what's so important here, and how those two things affect each other at the end of the day.
and
And
how long ago was
had a
this
lot of
film?
2 years ago at this point, and then it went on
So
its own
have you
journey.
have you checked in and done a checkup on these guys and
Like,
gals
where
to
are they
see how they're
now?
doing? Yeah.
We actually had an opportunity to do a tiny version of that in conjunction with the Kelly Clarkson show, of all opportunities. And we brought one of our like main protagonists. It was the single mom that I referenced earlier.
Mhm.
She actually went on the show, and this now at this point it was a year later. So it was kind of one of those things.
Did any of them go over and serve anywhere in combat? Do you know? Well, I mean, we're pretty much all done.
Yeah, I don't think they made it. I mean, they were all very, very. It's funny watching this. You're like, these are babies going through this because they're just all so young. So I don't know that any of them made it right out of the gate right away, or they would have had time to.
Well, if anybody wants to know what boot camp's about, just watch Full Metal Jacket.
Sure,
That
sure.
when that movie came out, there was nothing about boot camp. Really, there was the DI, I think, back in the '60s. Jack somebody, the DI, and then Officer and Gentleman.
Mhm.
Was about the closest I had when I went to OCS in '86, and then watching Full Metal Jacket. I took a girl on a date. I don't know why. Don't ask me why, because it was Marine related, I guess. And I took this girl, and I'm laughing through the whole first half. And she never went out with me again. She was like, "You're sick." I go, "This is so
Yeah,
realistic." Except, I never got hit. They didn't hit. They hit one guy in the head, knocked his helmet off. They came back to all of us and said, "We're doing an investigation on assistant drill instructor, blah blah blah. Did you witness him hitting the guy in the helmet?" And all of us hated this candidate. We didn't like this guy, and we're like, "Nah, he tripped. He tripped and fell. The helmet fell off." We protected the DI. He was still
yeah,
mean to us, but I'm sure he was appreciative. But yeah,
yeah.
you want to watch boot camp? Watch Full Metal Jacket. Freddie Joe Farnsworth. Do you know Freddie Joe? Have you met him? He does
Um,
more Hollywood stuff. I'm not sure civilians need
oh
to see
no,
what
yeah,
he's done. Um,
yeah.
he
That's
he
funny.
got his start with Dale Dye doing Starship Troopers.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
yeah, Marine bullet sponge infantry
Yeah,
guy. He's a great dude. Uh, so have you got to meet a lot of really interesting people then I imagine in this job.
yeah. I would. we have, and we've done a lot of interviews, specifically when it comes to like crossovers for films and things of that nature. That I mean, that's really fun. I got a chance to interview Sylvester Stallone for the last
Oh, wow.
Rambo movie, and he shared with. So my father was actually a Green Beret,
Uh-huh.
and Rambo shares with me that, or Sylvester Stallone shares with me that Rambo was actually Air Force enlisted, or no, it was an Air Force helicopter pilot before going into the Army and becoming Rambo. What? And he's like, yeah, there's a book. We went off the book. You'll even see in the beginning of the movie, he's actually in his Air Force uniform, and there's some like paraphernalia on the wall. And I'm like,
What?
this is not known to everybody. And my face was just like, my jaw dropped, and I was just kind of shocking to know more of his backstory. If you just never read the books and you see the movies, that never comes out.
So you're saying Rambo started out as an Air Force helicopter pilot, so like a jolly
Yes,
green dude, and he goes and becomes a snake eater?
he becomes a snake eater. That is correct.
Jeez.
Yeah,
Oh,
so I had
man.
the same reaction.
Yeah, yeah, I don't that's incredible. Um, you, if you ever wanna do a series on Medal of Honor guys, have you all started on that, talking about, real heroes, real our guys that we
We
worship?
Yeah, so we've done a couple of things we call Mighty Talks, and the Army brought us a couple of opportunities over the last like 2.5 years to do some of the first interviews with them, and they're just, as you know, just the most powerful stories you're ever going to hear.
Mhm.
And Netflix did their Medal of Honor series not too
Right.
long ago, but it's something that's very near and dear to our community, and something that always does really well engagement wise, because those stories are just incredible. And so we actually have a military influencer conference that we do every year, and there are a bunch of different tracks that happen there. We actually did this. We did a Mighty Talk um, with Florent Groberg, Medal of Honor
Oh, yeah,
recipient.
Flo's great, yeah.
Yeah, so Flo came out and gave his story as one of like the first inaugural Mighty Talks that were live
Mhm.
at our conference 3 years now, 3 years ago at this point. And we hope to be able to keep doing that moving forward. Our next one is October um, 26th through 9th at in Las Vegas. So it's our first time back in person. We're very excited. I may have gotten the date wrong. It might be 27th through the 29th, but we're going to have Mighty Talks again. We're going to have transition, a transition track. We're going to have an expo. There's going to be a comedy night. So all kinds of amazing things for the military community. We're really
Oh, that's
excited to
awesome.
put on.
26, alright, I'll have to look for that, maybe try to bid a trip, get a layover in Vegas, baby, here we go, call my wife, "Hey."
Absolutely. We'd love to see you out there.
Yeah, I tell you, if you I worked, we did a big charity here called Skyball. Our airline would put on, and we'd have 4,000 people in a giant airline hangar, take all the airplanes out, 777s, and they transformed this into this amazing stage. Gary Sinise would come out and play with his band, and, um, it started as operations when it was very small, and I worked operations, which then morphed into taking care of all of our Medal of Honor recipients that attended the event, and I would get them young enlisted kids as aides for the week. They were here for
Mhm.
about 4 or 5 days, and drive them around, whatever, and then school talks and set up all that stuff. So it's a real privilege to say that I've become friends with 30 some recipients,
Oh,
and
wow. Wow.
if you Hershey Miyamura is getting up there in age. He's a Korean vet. If you could send a crew out to go interview him, that would be a very, very outstanding talk to get in
Yeah.
there with Hershey. And he's outside of New Mexico, so yeah, scheme of things, not
Okay.
too far.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I can get you hooked up with his daughter, and you guys go out and interview him. He's
That would
fantastic.
be something. Yeah. Yeah.
Bob Patterson, he's Army. Oh man, you'd love him. And then we lost Leo. Leo was a good friend, Thorsonis. And when he came back from Vietnam as a POW, I was like, "Hey Leo, what's the first thing you said to your wife?" And he goes, I had to think about that for a while. So I come bounding across the tarmac. I give her a big hug and I go, hey, sorry, honey, I didn't call. I was a little tied up.
Nice. Oh, jeez.
He was great. He was great. Um,
Wow.
just some fantastic stuff to do out there, isn't it? What's your next big project? What now Vet TV, do you ever see his stuff on you see the Vet TV content?
Yeah, absolutely. We're very friendly with that organization, and we're hoping to do some work with them in the future.
Do you guys ever do joint stuff with other groups as well?
I The military influencer conference this year, I think, would be maybe the first official meetup if it does come to fruition, like we've been talking about. But we've been in talks for a little while now about different projects that we have. They are doing a great job of of taking their niche and expanding it a little bit more now. And they've got some real high quality content coming out of there. We're very excited to see.
That's awesome. You guys could have like Prager University. You could have your own series of shorts, informative videos. I mean, you guys, sky's the limit for you all. I hope you do
Yeah,
too, because like I said, it's just more time for me to sit and stop what I'm doing to watch one
sure.
of your
Yeah,
videos or read an
yeah,
article. Fantastic.
yeah.
Well, Mark, do you have any charities or anything that you want to promote?
Let's see.
Because
We
I've
just
got a
came.
picture of you in Africa somewhere showing some kids.
Yeah, so that's actually kind of amazing. For Operation Enduring Freedom, we were based out of the Horn of Africa, out of Djibouti,
Mhm.
and no kidding, I was showing children, according to my translator there, this is the first time that they had seen two things. One, a white person, and two, what a camera was and like their own image outside of like a mirror or something to that effect.
Really?
So, and then once I showed this photo of these kids, all of this, like the local surrounding tribes people, this was a Maasai warrior, they all started coming out and they wanted to see the white guy and then this camera thing. Um, it wasn't completely foreign to everyone, but for some more than others, this was like mind blowing to see.
Sure.
Um, and
Well,
so
this
that was from many moons ago at this point, but one of the most important deployment experiences I've ever had.
that's cool as hell. I love this photo. The one guy in the middle is looking at you. It's almost like you're saying,
Yeah,
"No, no, no. I
yeah,
said goat for dinner. We want
yep.
goat, not camel." And the guy's looking at you like, "You want what?"
I can almost promise you they were asking me when they got ice cream at the dining facility. And it was me trying to explain to them that it was coming up any second now. That was also a very amazing situation. Uh, and all of them got very sick eating way too much ice cream.
What year was this? You're wearing old chocolate chip uniforms.
Yeah, or just right past chocolate chip. This was 2000, early part of 2007.
Dang. Yeah, there you are again. Look at that young stud.
Yeah, and so this was actually this was they invited us to do this like English learning discussion group, and so the Djiboutians would come over or would have us on base, and we would talk really just about our culture, their culture, and they would practice their English, and it was just like hour-long conversations. And what's funny
Yeah,
is they didn't even care about us ever learning how to pronounce any of their names, so they all
right.
had nicknames like Sunshine, Babyface, Sugar Teeth, things like that. And they were like, that's
Yeah.
how they would introduce themselves. Hi, my name is Babyface. I want to talk to you about X, Y, and Z today.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool though. What? There's a shot. You're up in a burned out building or something.
Yeah, it's bombed out, and it's actually in Tuatha nuclear facility. Something I had no knowledge on until I said Congressman was sent out, or maybe it was like a delegate on behalf of it was a delegate on behalf of Congress to take a look at the actual facility. It had been bombed out by the Israelis years earlier, but they wanted to know what sort of actual capabilities that were there. And
You're
If you know
saying
anything
this was
about Kuwait, which again
a nuclear
in
facility in
Iraq.
Africa? Oh, in Iraq.
Nope,
Okay.
that was in Iraq. Yep, in Iraq, they were bombed by the Israelis. We were helicoptered in, and we were we were there, and they were looking for. Obviously, we're still on this protracted look for weapons of mass destruction, and we had a couple of scientists there that were going around the Geiger counters and looking for very specific things. And we were going into rooms, opening up boxes, and a couple of times it went off to some degree, but largely they, I even saw like what that thing that's called like the hot box, where in the beginning of The Simpsons, where Homer's got his hands in the gloves and he's playing with the isotope or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
We came across a series of those, but the person on our team who was there doing the research was like, yes, these are here. This is the most painfully long and drawn out version of how you could actually separate and make something weapons grade. Would just take too long. But that was unknown to any of us in our intelligence at the time,
Yeah.
which is why it was bombed out. And I it's funny you bring that up, because I just posted for some dumb reason the other day. Google Maps had like tracked something and said, "Were you at Tuatha nuclear facility?" Probably because it saw something in a photo or whatever. Would you like to write a review? And I did write a review for
No way.
Tuatha
You wrote
nuclear
a review
facility.
on it for
I
Google?
forgot what it said. Yeah, but it was very comical. I remember it something like, "This place is a real mess. 1 star. Don't recommend.
Yeah,
Nothing here but a
service
bunch of
sucked.
bombed out." Yeah,
Yeah, service
yeah,
sucked. I saw a three-headed deer.
yep, yep. All that.
Now, have you gotten any intel on the Ukraine situation? Are you guys in contact with English-speaking Ukrainian soldiers over there, feeding you any intel, anything? You
So
got
some
anything you can
members of
share?
some members of our team are. We Are the Mighty, by and large, doesn't do real time reporting.
Yeah.
There are many other military publishers out there that have got that more than covered. So it's just kind of the networks of the people that we maintain, and we'll get like inbound people asking for connections or asking for help or specific things. One thing that we've done to help, actually maybe ties back to your question about nonprofits or VSOs out there. For Memorial Day, we worked with an organization called TAPS. If you're familiar with that,
No.
um, uh, Transition Assistance.
Oh, chaps for the military.
Yes,
Chaps? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
sorry, Tragedy Assistance Program. Sorry, it's
Oh,
run by
okay.
this amazing woman named Bonnie Carroll, and we helped them with the Ukraine chapter of TAPS out there,
Mhm.
and we did a social media takeover for Memorial Day with them, to help spread some of the stories of our fallen. And we like to be able to have that kind of connective tissue within the military community, and be able to work with other organizations to help kind of highlight what they're doing and
Mhm.
give them a little bit of a bigger world stage if we're able to muster it.
That's cool as hell. Well, I'm going to throw this up there for everybody. WeAreTheMighty.com. So if you have a chance, go to Facebook, go like these guys, and subscribe, because their content that comes out, you'll love it. And you can also go to the website. There's a URL, and check that out. I've kept you for almost an hour. I can't believe it's gone by fast. You said that you're going to make it out to Dallas Fort Worth sometime, 8 times or something, right?
Yes, yes, I will. That is a threat and a promise.
Well, good. When you come out, all the local Californians that have moved in, you can always tell who they are, because they get these big eyes when I'm driving around in the Fox. But all the Texans give you a big two thumbs up.
That's
And
great.
Eric Sabiston, we'd love to invite you to be our guest at RTAG. So we'll have to look at bringing you out for RTAG to set up a booth out there. You guys probably have a media team that can go out. We'd have you come out, man. Hang out with all these soldiers and
Yeah,
airmen, and
send me some information. I would love to take a look.
I will. I mean, RTAG is now the largest veterans charity, aviation charity, I should say, and it's just incredible in terms of what Yeah, I was just walking down the hallway 2 days ago, giving a check ride, and I see this Army 60 pilot that I know from Facebook. Haven't seen him in person, but I just met him, and it's so good to see all these guys that are making it into the airlines and following their dreams, but they're
That's
able to
great.
achieve it through Eric and Josh and Tim, all those guys over at RTAG. So it's a fantastic place if you ever get a chance. Eric says, "Free booth, man, free
Yeah.
booth."
All right.
So we'll hook you up. Yeah, we take $0. That was one thing that I liked about him. He had that choice. He could go for profit, make a lot of money because people pay $400 a ticket to go to a hiring event. And Eric, Josh, and Tim sat down and said, "No, all vets, it's free. So vets don't pay a dime to attend these things. It's all
That's really
it's all
great.
here." It is. Well, listen, my friend, hang out for just a second. I'm going to say goodbye, and I've got a coin for you. I'm going to mail out just for your time. I
Great.
can't thank you enough.
Great.
And when
Appreciate
you
it.
come here, I'll buy you a beer, and I promise we'll have
Okay.
some fun.
Terrific.
All right, brother.
Thanks so
Hold on one
much.
second. Whoop. Hey, folks, thank you so much for joining us. Tall Tales with Taco. That was Mark Harper. Like I said, please go to their site. Right here is the site. Go check it out, sign up, subscribe, and you'll get all the notifications for the new content. Once again, if you like Tall Tales with Taco, you hit like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. You never know who I'm going to have on. It's always a lot of fun. Go see Top Gun. Go see it. There's just don't wait till video. Don't wait till streaming. Go see it on the big screen now. Don't wait 35 years later till they re-release it. Go see it now. It's well worth your time. I'm telling you right now. Well, until I see you guys again next week, adios, hasta luego, a wiedersehen, tschüss. Sheshe ni au revoir, domo arigato gozaimasu, tando shinde kudasai, ciao, rivedici, tashikor, assalamu alaikum, salam, mahala, do widzenia, das vidania, nastrovia. I think I got them all. I'm going to learn some more. Anyway, you guys take care. See ya. Hoorah.